Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Town of Babylon Zoning Board of Appeals. Tonight's agenda.
Hold on one second, Mickey. Okay.
We're good?
Yep.
Okay. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Town of Babylon Zoning Board of Appeals. There's 8 public hearings on the agenda utilizing Zoom webinar application. We will have the applicants join us to present their application to the board and answer any questions. Following the presentation, we will individually call upon members of the public who have registered to speak regarding this application. Individuals will be promoted from an attendee to a panelist in order to voice their comments. This hearing is also being live streamed on the Town of Babylon YouTube channel. Following the presentation and public comments, the public hearings will be closed. The record for the matter shall be held open for a minimum of 7 days. As long as the record is open, any member of the public who did not register to participate in tonight's Zoom meeting can provide comments on the application. We okay? By email or registered mail. Mail is to the Town of Babylon Zoning Board of Appeals, 200 East Sunrise Highway, Lindenhurst, New York, 11757. And the email address is zoningcomments@townofbabylon.com.
Okay, we have the first application 22-032, Dalton Studios. I do not see the applicant in the waiting room. The board's okay, we can move on to the second application.
Good plan.
It's 22-035, Tanya Owens. I have her in the waiting room. I'm going to promote her to a panelist to address the board. All right, Tanya, you've been promoted. Just need to unmute to address the board.
Yes,
Yes.
I'm turning my video on. There it is.
Okay. I need your name and address for the record, please.
Tanya Owens. I live at 321 Half Hollow Road, Deer Park, New York, 11729.
Okay, and do you affirm and tell the truth?
Yes, I do.
For the record, we have a planning division memo dated March 24th, 2022. Environmental control memo dated March 28th, 2022. If approved, this application will not result in significant impact. Survey by Thomas Matarazzo dated June 6th, 2020. Tax map acting as an area map. And
We have 4 photos.
okay, would you like to tell us about the application?
So I'm making an application for a variance. There's a front porch in front of the house, which I would like to make part of the house. And then once that's part of the house, we're going to need an entranceway. So it's going to be an encroachment, a 2-foot overhang from the stair encroachment.
Okay, thank
So
you.
that's the essence of the variance.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Turn the hearing over to Mr. Correcchia.
John, you're on mute.
There I am. Sorry about that. Good evening. So the addition you're going to improve is on the front of the home.
So the variance is for the front of the home. In addition, there's going to be work done on the side of the home, which is extending the kitchen and adding a back porch. But I don't believe that's part of this variance.
Okay, so you just need the variance for the front extension or the front addition. The side addition is going to go onto which side of the house? I don't have plans in front of me.
So if you're facing the house and the street is to your back, the side addition would be on the right side, extending it to the driveway.
Okay, very good. And do you agree not to further enclose the additional porch that you're building on the front?
So
You're gonna
I'm not building a porch on the front. There is a porch.
But you're going to enclose that porch and make it part of the home, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
And then put an entrance and then put like an overhang entrance area.
Right, you agree not to enclose that overhang?
No, I won't close that. No,
Okay.
correct.
Mr. Chairman, no further questions.
Any other questions from the board? Do we have anybody, Katie?
Yes, we have Stephen Listella here in the waiting room. I'm going to promote him to panelist to address the board.
He's my neighbor.
Okay. Stephen, you're on mute. You have to unmute yourself.
Okay, should pick me up now.
Yeah, I got you. Just need your name and address for the record, please.
Stephen La Stella, 317 Half Hollow Road, Deer Park, New York.
And do you affirm to tell the truth?
Yes, I do.
What would you like to tell us about the application?
I would like to support the application number 22-035. This general area of Deer Park on Half Hollow Road in particularly has been improved dramatically over the last couple of years. We had two houses that were pretty much abandoned for 8 to 10 years. Just recently, they've been completely rebuilt. Those are two to my left and to Tanya's left. And the work that Tanya's going to be doing on her home is also a very good, fine improvement to the area of Half Hollow Road, which has been pretty much decimated 10 years before that.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Okay, and that's it, Katie?
Yep, I have nobody else registered for this application.
Okay, so we're going to close the hearing. We're going to reserve decision. We're going to keep the record open for at least 1 week due to the fact that this is a Zoom meeting. You'll get the decision in the mail.
And with a decision after the 7 period, are we talking like a month from now after it's closed, or do you have a
We-
general idea?
When's our next meeting? Is the
So now it'll be the 21st.
21st is our next meeting, so that's our next opportunity to approve this.
So the 21st of April.
Right,
Correct.
Okay, so that would be the earliest. Okay,
okay, all right,
thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Chairman, I have the applicant for 22-032 Dalton Studios, 21 Jefferson Avenue here.
Okay,
I'm going to promote Richard to panelist to address the board.
Hi, I'm sorry for the confusion.
no, it's okay, no big deal. I just need your name and address for the record.
Richard Tripetowski, 173 North Main Street, Sable, New York, agent for the applicant.
Okay, and do you affirm to tell the truth?
I do.
Okay, for the record, we have a planning division memo dated March 24th, 2022. Environmental control memo dated March 28th, 2022. If approved, this application will not result in significant impact. A survey by Andre Miller dated 8/20/21. Tax map acting as an area map, and
There's 34 photos.
thank you. Okay, what would you like to tell us about the application?
Sure. All work on this property was completed by a previous owner. A detached garage was connected to the main dwelling and remains as an unfinished garage with storage area and will be maintained as such, not living space. One, the front yard setback as per survey is requesting 29 feet on Jefferson Avenue, a minimal request. The west side yard from 10 foot to 5'4" as per photos that I produced and on Google complies to the characteristics of the neighborhood. The rear yard reduced from 30 feet to 20.7 foot also seems to comply with the neighborhood and was in compliance when it was a detached garage, but was attached to the property, but it's still the same use. There's no change in the use. The west side yard has a door which has a paver area for a required entry area and is unroofed, leaving a side yard of 0.4 foot rather than 2 foot. It would be difficult to make entry compliant without relief. It is not elevated and does not have any effect on the neighborhood. The survey has the correct setback as that was applied for. I spoke with the engineer, and evidently, when the PDF of the survey was downloaded to him, the system inaccurately altered the setbacks. As a norm, the survey presents the most accurate dimension. The engineer will correct the plot plan. All of the requests seem to fit the characteristics of the neighborhood and the home as well. Kept and has no complaints. We request the board base its decisions based on the survey, but will provide a corrected plot plan. The home has been sold, so we would appreciate a decision based on the survey and are providing a corrected plot plan.
Thank you. So this house, this is an existing house, right?
Correct.
So, and they bought it in this condition.
Yes.
So why are you guys here tonight then?
We're here for the relief because there was some permits that needed to be closed out evidently when he purchased it, which is what we're going for, because it originally had a detached garage, which the previous owner had attached it to the house. And that was what brought us to the zoning board to correct these issues.
So the name on this Dalton Studios LLC, is that the current owner?
That is the current owner, yes.
Okay. All right, so the garage is now attached. How is it attached and what room does it go into? Can you get from the garage to the, I'm assuming you can get from the garage into the house?
Oh, absolutely. It's like a kind of a walkway, hallway, I would call it.
Okay, and it goes into what room?
Hold on, I could tell you in a second. Give me a minute. I gotta pull out the plans. My apologies. I believe it went into like the kitchen dining room area. But give me a minute. I'm trying to pull up the plans for you. Sorry.
All right, that's close enough. If you get, that's what
Okay.
it goes to. I'm okay with that. So there's concern about this garage. It's a two-story garage, right?
Yeah, it's a garage which has a very high ceiling, which I provided pictures of that shows that it was unfinished, with a storage area above it. The previous owner evidently had, I don't know if he had a landscaping business or what it was, and that's why he used that for the equipment with storage above it. But we will comply that it's not going to be an apartment, it's not going to be living space.
Okay, so you'll agree to a condition that it not be habitable space and that there'll be no accessory apartment?
Yes, we will.
Okay, and then the other thing, and I think you touched on already, is that we need an updated plot plan to match the survey.
Which we will provide for you. I've already talked to the engineer today. And he stated, well, he says, really, the most compliant is the survey which we provided, which was correct, but when he downloaded from the PDF, evidently it changed the dimensions. But I could probably have that in the next couple of days to provide to the town, so over there. But he said,
Okay.
yes, the survey is correct.
All right, any other questions from the board? Anybody on this, Katie?
I have nobody registered for this application.
Okay, so we're gonna close the hearing. We're gonna reserve decision. We're gonna keep the record open for a new plot plan showing the proper dimensions. And when we have all of that, we will make a decision.
Okay, can you tell me because the current house they have a new purchaser for it, how long that might be?
Our next meeting is the 21st of April.
21st of April, okay. So we'll get the plot plan to the town, and then a decision will be made at that hearing. Do I need to attend, or is it just?
No, you do not need to attend. We'll take, we'll make sure that all the paperwork is right and everything is good, and then we'll render a decision.
Very good. Thank you so much, everyone.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.
Okay, next we have application 22-027, Danielle Caliendo. I'm going to promote her to panelist to address the board.
Kayla,
Hi, my name is Danielle Caliendo, 230 46th Street, Lindenhurst, New York, 11757.
you affirm to tell the truth?
Yeah.
For the record, we have a planning division memo dated March 24th, 2022. Environmental control memo dated March 28th, 2022. Hold on. If approved, this application will not result in significant impact. A survey by Michael Scalise dated October 20th, 2021. Tax map acting as an area map. And
We have 4 photos.
what would you like to tell us about the application?
We'd like to build an in-ground swimming pool with square feet of pavers, which would bring the building percentage over the allowable 20%.
Turn the hearing over to Mr. Rigney.
Yes, hi. With that being said, with the pavers, you guys are seeking a substantial amount of relief for that. Is there any possible way to reduce the amount of pavers that you guys would put down around the pool?
I mean, that's what the pool company had suggested, just to have enough on each end. A couple feet on each, or just surrounding the pool.
Okay, but before this is constructed, is there any way that you guys would be willing to just bring it back, scale it back a little bit so it's not so much relief required? Is that something that you'd be willing to do, or?
We can definitely look into, I just thought it like for purposes that just so we're using the pool to be able to possibly put chairs or something around the pool, and not just have grass right next to the pool.
I understand. That's the only thing I have, Mr. Chairman.
Any other questions from the board? Would anyone like, we have anybody, Kate?
We have nobody registered for this application.
Programmed. Okay, we're gonna close the hearing. We're gonna reserve decision. We'll keep the record open for 2 weeks, actually, and you'll get the decision in the mail.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, next we have application 22-034, Robert Rosenberg. I'm going to promote Bernard Rogers here to address the board.
And this has correspondence in the board's packet as item number 1.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Good evening.
Good evening. Name and address for the record, please.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Chairman. Bernard Rogers, architect, representing my client, Robert Rosenberg. My address, 2150 Wantagh Park Drive, Wantagh, New York, 11793.
Okay, do you affirm to tell the truth?
I do.
For the record, we have a planning division memo dated March 24th, 2022. Environmental control memo dated March 28th, 2022. If approved, this application will not result in significant impact. A survey by New York Land Surveyors dated September 2nd, 2021. Tax map acting as an area map. And we have correspondence from 2 neighbors. One at 295, oh no, the wrong address. One at 303 West 12th Street and another one at 289 West 12th Street, who are in favor of the application. What would you like to tell us about the application?
My clients are proposing a second floor addition over their existing house and attached garage, a 2-story addition behind their garage, and a front roof portico. The front roof portico, or front porch, as it's called out on the variance request, is only 9 feet in width and projects out 4 feet from the front wall of the house. It creates a front setback of 24.9 feet where 30 feet is required. The second floor addition creates a 27.6 front yard where 30 feet is required and a 7.8 side yard where 10 feet is required. I'd like to note that in both of these areas, we're building directly over the existing non-conforming locations. We're vertically enlarging these existing nonconformities. We're not increasing the nonconformities. As the chairman has noted, we've submitted 2 consent letters from the next door neighbors at 289 West 12th and 303 West 12th. My client has spoken with both of them, explained the project and why we must seek relief before the board this evening. They've both said that they have no issues with the project. We feel that the project conforms with the aesthetic of the block in the area. We believe that if approved, it will have no adverse effects on the neighboring properties or the neighborhood in general. And I'd also like to note that my clients have no intention of ever enclosing the front portico and would of course have no issue with that being a condition of the relief being granted.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll turn the hearing over to Mr. Correcchia.
Good evening. I see that you've read the planning memo and addressed all the concerns there. And so then I have no further questions.
Any other questions from the board? Katie, anybody?
I just have the homeowner registered. I don't know if he wanted to speak or if he was just here to listen. Maybe the applicant can let us know.
I believe he was just there to listen.
Okay. Okay, in that case, I'm going to close the hearing. Reserve decision, keep the record open for 1 week. Actually, it'll be 2 because we don't have a meeting. Just in case there are further comments because we're doing a Zoom meeting, okay? And you'll get the decision in the mail.
Excellent. Thanks very much. Have a great evening now.
You too, thank you.
Okay, next we have application 21-229, Gene Gardy. I have Juan Lopez here to represent the application. I'm going to promote him to panelist to address the board.
Yes, good evening. My name is Gene Gardy Lucien.
There you go, I'm sorry. I need your name and address, please.
Hi, this is Juan Lopez, 2470 Great Neck Road, Copiague, New York, 11726, representing Mr. Gene Goddard. He's actually with me in case I need to ask him any questions, so pretty much he's here if you want to say Gene Goddard.
Yes, good evening. This is Gene Gardy Lucien and my wife, Amali Etienne.
Okay, I need your an address.
173 Eastwood Avenue, Deer Park, New York, 11729.
Okay, do you all affirm to tell the truth?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. For the record, we have a planning division memo dated March 23rd, 2022. Survey by Barry Farr, dated 8/12/21, tax map acting as an area map, and
2 photos.
would you like to tell us about the application?
Yes, basically, we have, unfortunately, like most of the buyers, they purchased the house the way it is, and they understand, of course, that any violation on the house, they're responsible for. Everything is there. The only construction that they did by themselves was enclosing a CO zone room that is there right now, so they enclose it, ignoring that they need a permit for that. And of course, it's well done, constructed under all the codes, and that's pretty much that. Is a shed on the side that is very close to the property line, and my client is willing to cut the shed and make it to the distance that is supposed to be to the property line.
Okay, so you're willing to do that, so that would mean that we would be able to eliminate 2 of the variants asked for. One is for south side yard from 6 to 0.2, and the other one is rear lot line from 6 to 0.8. So we can eliminate those.
Well, basically, the sunroom it was CO, but it wasn't enclosed at the time they purchased the property. Has a CO for that, but now after they enclose it, they would like to keep that structure, and the shed that is on the opposite side, they're willing to cut it and make it to the code with the town
Right.
of Pueblo.
So that's what I'm saying. If they're willing to cut that shed back
Yes.
to, proper, then we can eliminate these 2 variances as far as that goes. 5 and 6.
So please let me ask. So, but we're gonna keep the enclosed sunroom. That's the purpose of the. I mean, we would like to since it was already CO enclosed, the sunroom, they just want to keep it as a very nice area to have some.
Okay, excuse me, if we could just address this, the shed, they're willing to cut back the
Yes.
shed to conforming location of
Yes.
6 feet on each corner.
Yes,
So on both property lines, they're willing to bring the shed back to 6 feet.
yes, sir.
Okay. And the Florida room, and I see you have a framed patio, an overhang on a patio right next to behind the Florida room.
Yes.
All right, is there any way possible that that could be cut back? You're right on the property line on both structures. I see that this Florida room was not enclosed and it was approved on a previous hearing, on a previous application. Is there, now what are you doing to that Florida room? You're enclosing it and making it living area?
No, it's
No,
not,
no, it's
no,
not a
no.
living area, sir.
Say
That
again,
area-
please.
It's a
You can't-
sunroom.
you-
So when we had purchased it when we purchased the home, it was already covered, but it was, I guess what they call the tin covering, and it was aluminum covering that was leaking. So instead of keeping that, not knowing that we were doing something wrong, we went ahead and we had it, covered. So.
Okay, so the construction is already completed on that.
Yes, it was.
Okay, and this patio with the overhang behind it, when was that overhang installed over the patio, the concrete patio behind the Florida room?
It was at the time of the construction when they did the roof, and I guess that's where that overhang came in from.
Now, you installed that, or that was there when you purchased the home?
When we purchased the home, it was just so, but it was a different type of covering. It was
All
an
right, we're talking
aluminum
about the
covering.
patio now, not the Florida room.
Patio.
The
overhang on the patio.
like that. Yes, the patio was already like that. So we didn't add anything, is just as is.
All right, because it's really close to the property line. In the future, if you decide to reconstruct or have to move that overhang over that patio, you'll be willing to put it in a conforming location or give some more property?
Yes, sir, would do it the correct way because we didn't know any better.
Okay, so there's quite a bit of coverage on this property.
Now we're aware of that.
That framed patio with the sock behind the sunroom is not a roof over. It means framed at grade.
Say again, Rich?
Where the Florida room is, the patio behind it, where it says frame patio, that's
Yeah.
not a roof over. That's wood frame patio at grade. That's not.
Oh, okay, all right, I misunderstood, I'm sorry. Okay. So we're willing to move the shed and the construction's already done on the Florida room.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I have no further questions.
So I just have, basically all this stuff was here when you bought the house?
Yes, sir.
So did you have counsel when you bought the house?
Yes, we had counsel, we had everyone, and the lawyer, unfortunately, never, ever showed up at the closing. They sent someone else that did not do us justice, obviously.
I mean, I don't know how this got passed when you bought the house, honestly. I mean, usually title searches would turn up all of this stuff and,
And that's why it's a bit frustrating because when we purchased, we moved up here, basically we moved from Florida, not knowing. So when we got everything in place, we thought everything was fine. And we went through a closing, nobody ever said anything until we went to close this particular piece of the property to recover it. And that's when we're finding all this out.
Okay, so the purpose of this hearing this evening was there a complaint on the property? Or are you intending to sell the property?
No, go ahead, I'm sorry.
It was the Officer Anderson that works for the Code Enforcement. she passed by and she saw the violation. She came in and spoke to them and told them of the violation.
Okay, so there was a violation and a concern. Okay.
Right.
So that's what brought you to the hearing.
Yes.
Okay. No further questions, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, any other questions from the board?
Yeah, Mickey, I got a few questions. Which
ahead.
which way is this thing pitched?
Good question.
Florida room roof. It's pitched to the north side.
The north side, yes.
And what's behind that? Is there a neighbor's property back there?
Neighbor's
Do we have a
neighbor's
gutter on it?
property is right at that property line.
Trees, there's just trees there. It's actually, it's right in front of our fence.
Mhm.
And behind that fence, there are the neighbor's trees there.
And is there a neighbor, a house? Is it
No, it's
residential?
a house. There is a house, but the house is far away from that property. It's all yard on that side.
And do we have a gutter along this edge?
Yes. Yes.
And which way does it run off? Does it run off to the rear or the front?
To the front.
Okay. And no runoff goes into the back over the property
No.
line?
No.
I have no further questions, Mr. Chairman.
Any other questions from the
Is
board?
there an interest to amend the application to delete the two variances?
Oh, yeah. You want to do that, John? You want-
Yeah, I could do that.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to delete variance number 5 and number 6 for the shed to be located in a conforming location.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to close the hearing. We're going to reserve decision. We're going to keep the record open for 2 weeks for further comments from anybody from the public, and you'll get the decision in the mail.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Actually, Mr. Chairman, if you notice on that application number 10, the wording just needs to be
Oh,
amended as well.
increase total building area from accessory structure, accessory buildings in the rear yard from 45 to 90. Okay. So I'll make a motion to amend, what's number 10 on the planning memo, increase total building area from accessory structures. Accessory structures, accessory buildings in the rear yard from 45 feet to 95.24 feet percentage of coverage.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Lot going on there.
Okay, the next application is 22-004 Antonio Santos, 248 44th Street, Lindenhurst. I have Juan Lopez here to represent that application as well.
Hi, good evening. This is Juan Lopez at 2470 Gray Neck Road, Copiague, New York, representing Mr. Antonio Santos. And he's here with me in case I need to ask any questions to him. Your name?
Name and address.
My name is Antonio Santos Prado.
Okay, and the address?
La dirección.
248, 44th Street,
Lindenhurst,
Lindenhurst,
New York.
New York.
Okay, do you both affirm to tell the truth?
Yes. ¿Verdad? ¿Dices la verdad? ¿Vas a decir la verdad?
Yeah.
Okay. For the record, we have a planning division memo dated March 23rd, 2022. Environmental control memo dated March 28th, 2022. If approved, this application will not result in significant impact. A survey by Barry Farr dated July 20th, 2021. Tax map acting as an area map and
7 photos.
what would you like to tell us about the application?
Yes, Mr. Antonio it's looking to have in the front of the house, the portico in order to have some kind of protection for when he's opening the door. He wants to have something that he's not gonna get wet until he opens the door. He also have a place here that is an accessory apartment that it took a lot of space from his house, so he's willing to increase the area where he's living right now because it's very tight. And we have that shed that is in that, and we already removed that shed. I let the zoning know, and I brought pictures to them to show them that we already removed the shed and it's compliant right now with the distances. And that's pretty much what we have right now.
Thank you. Turn the hearing over to Mr. Rigby.
Okay, so you said you deleted the shed, right? The shed is no
Yes.
longer,
Yes,
and,
And I show proofs to the zoning also.
okay, and you said something about an apartment?
Oh, yeah, he has an apartment in the house. He put the application in the town for the accessory apartment. It's already there, but of course, it's suspended. Nothing is going on until, of course, there is another permit in place right now for
So
this,
it's-
proposing this construction.
So we're seeking a permit as we speak. It's not finalized. He's in the process.
It's not finalized.
Okay, all right. And with the construction with this dormer that we're putting on, would your client agree not to enclose the portico on the front?
100%, yes. We already spoke about that, and I told him that that was gonna question that was gonna make, and he's agreed with that, not to enclose it.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I got no further questions.
Any other questions from the board? We have anybody, Katie?
Yeah, I have one person registered, Ms. Perez. I'm going to promote her to panelist to address the board.
Okay.
Hello,
Hey, I just need your name and address for the record, please.
Nadine Perez, 251 45th Street, Lindenhurst, New York, 11757.
Okay, do you affirm and tell the truth?
Yes.
Okay, would you like to tell us about the application?
Shed's still there. The shed's there. We're a little concerned with the deck that was built. They raised the deck on the second floor from the doorway, I guess for it to be higher. We feel that it's a little bit of a invasion of privacy.
Didn't get permits for it either when they put it on there.
I don't think there was permits. I don't recall any letters coming to the house. Maybe I'm wrong. I
No,
don't
There
know.
was no permits. They just built them.
There's also a gazebo.
No permits for that either.
I don't recall anything coming to the house for that.
There's a relief on here for the gazebo.
Yeah, It's part of this application, the gazebo that they're seeking relief.
Mm. Okay. And the shed, or they're claiming the shed is going?
Well, they're claiming that the shed has been demolished, but in your words, you're saying that the shed is still there.
Still there.
If we're talking about the same shed, how many sheds were on the property?
Just one.
The
Okay.
survey, it says, it's according to the survey, one.
Yeah, I'm not concerned about the shed, the gazebo and the deck.
And the parties.
May I say something?
Not yet. Anything else?
Oh, the noise complaints that come from there, is this gonna increase the amount of people that they already have in the house?
Who is this? Who's speaking?
This is Mr. Perez. I live at 251 45th Street.
It's my husband.
That's fine. I just need, I need it for the record. You affirm to
Yeah.
tell the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Please.
So with the extension that they're putting in the house, they're putting more people in the house now because we have noise complaints at this house like crazy. They have no consideration for the neighbors. The music you can hear from 5 blocks away, and we really don't want more people and more noise in what was our quiet neighborhood until they moved in.
What is Mr. Perez's first name, please?
George.
Thank you.
Okay. They are seeking, so, all right, I'll ask that question about more people. Anything else for you guys?
Yeah, if he doesn't reside at the house, how is he allowed to have a 2-family?
It wouldn't be a two-family, it would be an accessory apartment, and he needs to reside. The owner has to be owner occupied.
Well, on the paperwork that you said, he's residing on a different address.
Not according to our paperwork, Mr.
Not
Chairman.
according to our paperwork.
Just out of curiosity. what
Maybe
address
we're
does-
confused, so explain to us, who resides at the house? Is it Santos? Antonio Santos? Or is it Juan Lopez? Who owns the house?
Who's speaking?
Nadine,
Okay, I will ask the applicant that.
thank you.
Any other questions?
That's it.
Okay, thank you. Katie, anybody, any other,
I do not have anybody else registered for this application.
okay.
Are there only ones?
Mr. Lopez, are you still there?
Yes, yes, I am.
All right, so let's confirm first, who is living at, who owns this house, not living at?
Mr.
Who's owning it?
Santos and Mr. Santos, and he lives in the property.
And he lives in the property.
100%, yes.
You do, so who is the other person? Juan?
One is me. I'm the expediter,
Oh, you're the expert, okay, so that's,
representing him, yes.
okay, so Mr. Santos owns the property, Mr. Santos is going to continue to live at the property is because if he gets an accessory apartment permit, he needs to be owner occupied.
Yes, and he lives in the property and he's making this house beautiful for his own use. And he don't have, we inviting the town to please come and confirm that he's living by himself and his family.
Okay, and talk to me about the deck in the back.
The deck in the back is going to disappear. If you look at the plans.
Yeah,
as
we don't have the plans,
have plans.
unfortunately.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah. That deck is going to disappear because with the construction that we're proposing to the town, that deck is no longer there anymore.
Okay, and what's with the shed? The shed she's saying is still existing and you're telling us that it's been demolished.
The shed has not been demolished. It's been moved from the property line to comply with the codes with the town.
Well, that's not what you said, but okay.
Right.
So, and where's this gazebo? Because I don't see that on the
The
plot plan.
gazebo is right next to the shed.
Gazebo's right next to the shed.
Looks like they're calling it the roof over patio.
Oh, that's the
Yeah.
gazebo?
Yes,
Oh, okay, that's why I'm confused. So that's actually a patio with a roof over?
it is a gazebo with a, of course, the floor is made by concrete.
Okay.
And that's not going to be enclosed either, right?
100% no.
Okay.
And just one more thing, Mr. Chairman, how many people, as far as tenants, are living in the house? Is parking an issue? Is there off-street parking?
No, it's they want to know how many people, cuánta gente vive acá de su familia.
Es 7, digamos, en total.
En total.
7 personas.
¿Cuántos hijos?
O sea, van a
¿Cuántos?
venir 3.
No. ¿Cuántos viven en la casa en el momento?
Vamos, 4 acá.
4 people lives in the house.
4 people. Okay, is it 1 car, 2 cars? How many cars extra are parking
¿Cuántos
at the?
carros hay acá normalmente?
2 acá.
2 cars. You're always going to see 2 cars in the driveway.
Okay, and that's off-street parking for the tenants?
Yes, that is parking for the tenants.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I got no further questions.
All right. Any other questions from the board?
If you're applying for an accessory apartment, don't you need off-street parking for the tenants also?
No,
You
the
only
driveway
have, you only have 2 spots on the driveway?
has 3 spots in the driveway.
3? Okay,
Yes,
all right, thank you.
you're very welcome. Thank you.
All right. Katie, we have nobody else, right?
Nobody else registered.
Okay. All right, we're going to close the hearing. We're going to reserve decision, keep the record open for 2 weeks for any further comments. Thanks for coming down. We'll take everything into consideration. And that's it.
Thank you very much for your help.
Thank you.
You have a great night, DeBoer.
You too. Thank you.
Okay, next we have application 22-013 Checkpoint Automotive. I have Nick here. I'm going to promote him to a panelist to address the board. Okay, he's been promoted. He should be able to address the board.
Name and. where is it? Name and address for the record. Is he there, Katie? I don't see him actually.
He's
Well, I see him.
there. It looks like he's having maybe some audio difficulties, but he's not muted.
Yeah, he's not. I don't see the mute button at all. So. All right. All right. Oh, he's coming in on chat.
Yeah. You can always use the call-in number. That's on the email, gives you a call-in number. Okay.
Can they hear us? I don't know. Doesn't appear to be.
It looks like he can't hear us. Can you?
So let's do this. Maybe you can just let him know. We're going to move on to the next hearing and we'll come back to him.
Sure.
It's the last one.
Oh,
and I
that's the last
trying to
hearing.
connect to audio.
This is the last application.
All right, I'm sorry, there is one more, I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay. There's a carryover into tonight.
Sorry.
Right? Yep, that's fine.
I don't think we have that last hearing. I believe they submitted a communication correspondence.
Oh, did they? There's a lot of correspondence with all these pictures. I might have missed that.
Isn't that today?
I don't. I don't know if that's from Rich.
Okay, they had submitted a letter. It doesn't look like it's made it on for communications for tonight for the
Hello?
last application.
I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. We can see you. This is for Checkpoint Automotive,
great.
right? Okay.
Yes, I'm so sorry about that. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board.
Need your name and address for the record.
My name is Neeraj Lalvani, address 21 Hawthorne Street, Farmingdale, New York, 11735.
Okay. And do you affirm to tell the truth?
I do.
Okay. For the record, we have a planning division memo dated March 23rd, 2022. Environmental control memo dated March 2nd, 2022. If approved, this application will not result in significant impact. A survey by John Capitano dated December 4th, 2018. Tax map acting as an area map and
And there's also 2 items in the board's packet for correspondence. There's an email under number 2 with photos from an adjoining neighbor. And then there's also an email with photos. It's item number 8 in the board's correspondence from an attorney regarding concerns over the application. So numbers 2 and 8 are associated with this application.
Okay. Okay. What would you like to tell us about the application?
All I'd like to, it's just another renewal for the special exemption permit that's been in place since I purchased the building about 10 years ago, on same as a public garage like it's always been. Over the last 3 years when I applied last time, they said I need a variance for outside parking. I guess we conformed to everything and we were approved 3 years ago, came for the permit again and it came up again. So here for renewal for both, I guess, from what we had 3 years ago. The special use permit as well as outdoor storage.
Yes. Yes, it is. And the correspondence is all in regard to very big bushes that block people when they're trying to get in and out. It also looks like it's hanging over onto the sidewalk. Can we cut these bushes back?
Absolutely. Actually, I don't think I've ever heard of this being a problem or an issue, but I'll gladly, they can be cut back as far as need to be. I didn't know they were even over the sidewalk. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, according to the pictures I'm looking at, it looks like they're kind of hanging partly over the sidewalk. Not to mention that it is difficult for people to see going in and out of there on the neighboring property.
Okay, absolutely not a problem. We only did that, the neighboring building have their dumpsters right there. So just for view, we had many years ago, but we can cut that back as far as needed. That's not a problem at all.
Yeah, it looks a little straggled. They need some attention from what I'm looking at in pictures and stuff here.
No problem at all.
Okay, as far as everything else goes, the business is running as it has ran before. There's no problems. Doesn't look like there's any issues according to the planning memo. So, I mean, I think, you know, outside of these bushes, I don't think there's a problem here. So, but that needs to be taken care of, please.
Immediately, not a problem.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? Would anyone like to be heard on this application? Oh, Katie?
I have nobody registered for this application.
Oh, God. Okay, very good. We're going to close the hearing. We're going to reserve decision. We're going to keep the record open for 2 weeks, just in case there's any further comments. And we will probably put a condition on the approval that those bushes be cut back properly.
Absolutely, not a problem. May I ask one quick question, if you wouldn't mind? When I purchased this building 10 years ago, the prior owner, he had it set for a 5-year use permit. When I applied, they said I needed to do it for 1 year to see how I did. Sorry. And then after that, it went up to 2 years, followed by 3 years, again 3 years. Is there any way we can try and attempt? I've maintained no complaints in a very clean property for the last 10 years since I've been there. I was hoping I can get it back up to possibly 5 years. I have 5 years till I pay the mortgage off, so I was hoping I can get this through one last time. Love to, you know, I've been seeing you guys now, Mr. Chairman, for 10 years now. Never had any issues. It's been great. I don't plan on leaving by any means, but I'd love to just make it through the closing day when I can pay my landlord off and finally be clear of it.
We'll take a
If
look
that's
at it.
possibility.
We'll take a look at it. Let's see if you can get those bushes cut back sooner rather than
24
later.
hours. It'll be done tomorrow.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
All
We'll
right,
take a
thank
look.
you, guys. Have a good evening.
You go.
Thanks.
So Katie, we think there's correspondence for Novak to postpone.
I think there's correspondence to withdraw, but it's not made your agenda for tonight.
All right, so I guess we'll carry it over and so we know for sure what we're doing.
Case, I'm sorry, that was the case the last time? Right?
Withdraw?
So Novak Motors was originally heard in 2020, and then there was an adjoining neighbor that came to speak about
Right.
issues with parking.
Right. That was their property or something.
The some follow-up, and so that application was later withdrawn. So you, Katie, you're believing that there's another request to withdraw it now?
Yes,
Okay.
it looks like we received a letter But like I said, I will confirm with the office and then have it on for communications for your next hearing.
Yeah, let's do that because I don't want to withdraw if he doesn't want to withdraw, but at the same time, if he's withdrawing, is everything then up to code? Because obviously there's some issues there to some degree. I mean, it was operating fine, but evidently there was a problem that, you know, the property wasn't his, or something of that nature, as I recall. So, okay.
No
We'll
one
just-
registered to present the application, right?
Right.
Okay.
Okay, all right, so we'll carry it on. Okay,
That was all.
Moving on to page 7 of the agenda, the application is Michael Mara. So the board will recall that this was a gentleman who was asking for permission to ask for a variance for the north side from 6 to 9 inches and increase 2 bays for private garage. So please see in correspondence item number 7, which is an email from Mr. Mara. And then number 11, which is a memo from Mr. Normoyle in response to the email. So if you please just take a moment to read Mr. Mara's letter that recaps that as the board requested, he did submit new plans moving his proposed shed/garage. This new correspondence is asking the board to reconsider that. And he is now proposing to move the structure so that the variance would change to be diminished distance to north side yard from 6 feet to 3 feet. Correct.
What were they before? It was more than that? Getting lost in my correspondence.
Originally, he had asked to diminish his side yard from 6 feet to 9 inches. He then agreed to move the structure to the conforming 6 feet, the conforming 6-foot setback. He has since recanted on that and now is asking for a 3-foot relief on that setback. So now he's asking for diminish 6 foot to 3 foot.
So what did he do? Did he move it at all, or is the?
Well, yeah, he's moving it from the 9 inches that it was from the property line to 3 feet from the property line. But he had agreed to move it 6 feet to a conforming location, but is now saying he can't manage that.
So do we need to have him come back, Pam, or are we?
If it's more of, in other words, it's not a greater relaxation, what he's asking for now is much
Less.
reduced from what was advertised.
Gotcha. All right, so we're okay with this then, I guess, if that's the case. Are we, yeah, what's on that side that he's going to? I mean, does he have any more room there, or?
There's a neighbor, and I
Oh, we don't.
I don't know if the neighbor had responded originally. We're gonna pull the file right now.
Let me
So
look at the survey. Actually, the survey should be the neighbors. So. Along that side yard is planted arborvitae's all the way down the driveway. And from the survey, I can't tell if the neighbor's house is close to it because I cannot see the neighbor's location of their dwelling.
Right.
But he has limited distance on the other side to be able to move that shed over 6 feet.
Oh, yeah, I see. Okay, I got one of these pictures. I got,
Yeah, he attached some of the pictures to show where
Yep.
it was in relation to his neighbors.
He's
All right.
also attached his prior correspondence from December, and that included a letter from his neighbors at 443 Arnold Avenue stating that they do not have any issues with the placement on the property.
I'm assuming that's the next door neighbor that it would most affect. Should I
That's
assume that?
appropriate. So
Maybe I shouldn't assume, but
Looks like it would be the property with the arborvitae's on it.
yeah, okay. All right, what does anybody think? I'm kind of, the 3 feet gives us, I mean, those arborvitae's cover up everything back there, so. All right, I'll make a motion to approve application 21-201. We have something on this, don't we, from you, Rich? Yes. According to Rich's memo dated March 31st, 2022, to delete diminished distance to north side yard from 6 to 9 and add diminished distance to north side yard from 6 to 3. A second on that?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
thank you. Moving on to page 8, the applications are M&R property. There was an inspection. There was an issue with the carbon monoxide detector. A new one was installed and a re-inspection is scheduled for April 7th. So we will hopefully be able to address this. Did you have any?
Okay.
Did they address the second variance, 500 square foot? That's approved as well.
From Michael Merritt?
Yes.
Yeah. Moving on to page 9 of the agenda, it's 21-230 Jose Mata. The applicant is unresponsive and will not allow an internal inspection, and the board's aware of the frustration over that. So I'm not sure what the board would like to do, as an internal inspection was requested.
And he's not allowing it?
He's not. That was Mr. Lopez
Mata.
last week, saying that apparently his son,
Oh, right. Yeah, right. He's already spoken to him too, and I guess he's getting no place either. So I'll make a motion to deny and refer to council application 21-230.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
the application on page 10 is 21-237 Patterson Brothers. I've corresponded with the attorney who says that they've been in touch with the architect and new plans should be received within 2 weeks.
Okay.
Moving on to page 11 of the agenda, we have application 21-243 Marie Cardoza. The attorney is unresponsive, has not returned several of Mr. Normile's phone calls, has not returned 2 of my phone calls, and I don't believe we've had communication with the applicant either, correct?
No.
Okay, so new plans were received, however, they contained a front yard setback that was in excess of what was advertised. So we are trying to say that either that needs to be amended or they need to come in and have the application reheard. Which one?
Can we try to make contact with the actual applicant as opposed to the
I
attorney?
can send a certified letter to the attorney and CC the applicant.
That'd be great.
I can call the architect, and try to get a hold of them through the architect, but I've tried to call Carolyn Fry, their attorney, and we've gotten no response from her at all.
Okay. But I guess whatever you guys can do would be appreciated, see if we can get some kind of response, at least from the applicant.
Thank you. Moving on to page 12 of the agenda, the application is 22-008 Michael Capozzi. This property is located in Copeg. You'll recall that Mr. Della Vecchia had requested that the shed be moved to meet the 2-foot setback. So in your correspondence, item number 4 is a letter from Chris Ross from Long Island Perfect Permits, stating that the applicant will move the shed to meet the 2-foot setback. And then 6 in your correspondence is a memo from Mr. Normile advising that the changes to the variance would be that the second variance would then be deleted.
So I make a motion to delete variance number 2 on application 22-008.
Second.
All in favor?
And
Aye.
I make a motion to approve application 22-008 as amended.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pam.
You're welcome. I don't have the original planning memo. Does anyone recall if there were any proposed covenants, restrictions, or anything on this?
I don't think there were because it was just a pool.
Thank you. Okay. Moving on to page 13, the application is 21-017, Thomas Galgano. The attorney for the applicant had submitted evidence of similarly sized, oversized garages, and the board had asked for additional research that Ms. Riley and I provided in correspondence to the board that they received last week. So
Yes,
Were
we
there
did.
any-
Nice job, guys.
Mm.
Did a good job. So,
just
I
realized
guess-
that there's a height request and there's an oversized garage request.
yeah, so
There's
but the
also,
height-
I'm sorry to interrupt, Mr. There's also
Yeah.
in the board's packet, item number 3 is correspondence from Mr. Galgano's attorney. And the correspondence states that if the board has any further questions, needs to discuss any conditions, we're willing to address them. So that's item number 3 in the board's packet.
So I guess my only question is, and not that it's a huge deal, but why couldn't it conform to the height, I guess, but it's an eighth of an inch, whatever, I guess.
Well, there's reasons to remain stringent on that precedent. The height.
I mean, it looks like there was only one other one that you guys researched would even come close to being comparable to this. One of them was like just lot coverage for that amount, it had nothing to do with the garage at all. So
You're correct. The only similar situation was really ZBA 17-219, and it did have additional circumstances.
Right.
There was evidence of an existing certificate of occupancy that had been produced.
So, I mean, I get, this is not bad. John, go ahead.
Mickey, I'm listening to you, whatever you want. to do. I don't like it. I didn't like it the last time. I still don't like it, but
Well, I'm sure we can make the case, as
Big
far as
garage.
findings. Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, at the end of the day.
I mean, an eighth of an inch you could beat with a hammer on the roof. Or
Yeah,
take the shingles
I
off.
don't-
That's not, yeah. But
That's
like,
that's just in your, that's to me, that's just in your face. Don't go come here with that besides
Yeah.
anything else. So your call, John.
gonna deny it,
Okay.
and we'll further findings, phases, phases for me, Pam, would you?
So now you refer to council, application
Yes.
21017.
Yes, I'll refer application 21-017. I'll refer to council.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I think you did a lot of research here already, right, Pam?
Moving
your
on to
findings?
the bottom of page 13, the application is 21-134, Flying Horse Trucking. The applicant has submitted an application to legalize barbed wire. I believe Mr. Cricchio wanted to see the actual application approved or the barbed wire removed. Is that correct, Mr. Vice Chairman?
Correct. If he submitted the application to legalize the barbed wire, it's a very well-kept operation. I'll make a motion to approve application 21-134 with the condition that the barbed wire be legalized for a period of 2 years.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Moving on to page 14, the application is 21-205 G&J Westway to Auto Repair. So there's also correspondence in the board's packet. This is item number 10. There are photos submitted by G&J Bestway, and I would ask if planning is satisfied with the conditions of the property.
I drove by there again. It looked like they removed the cars that were parked on the residential blocks and across the street. Looked like they cleaned up some of the debris that was on the side. So they did comply with at least the planning memo.
First is a wine dance. I will make a motion to approve application 21-205. Last time we approved it for a year. I'm gonna only approve it for a year again. Let's make sure it keeps it clean.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Moving on to page 15, the first is, these were the items that were heard at last week's meeting. So the application is 22-029 Sean Murphy. This property is located in Lindenhurst. So planning had recommended that if approved, there be a condition that if the garage were ever removed or relocated, it be rebuilt in a conforming location, and that it also have the conditions that the garage be for storage only, no habitable space, and no heating or plumbing permitted in the garage. Properties in Lindenhurst.
I wasn't here, Mr. Chairman, but
Okay, I also have on here Robert Cummings. Did we amend this application to be in Robert Cummings' name?
I'm sorry, we did, Lena confirmed that we do have the homeowner affidavit. on this.
Okay, that's what it was. Okay, good. Oh, so we have it. Okay, so then that's fine. Okay, I make a motion to approve application 22029 with the conditions on the face of CO that the garage is used for storage only, no habitable space permitted, no heating or plumbing permitted in the garage.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Stain.
The next is 22-021. This property is located in Wyandanch. There were no objections.
I make a motion to approve application 22021. That's it. I'm saying there's nothing else on here.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Stain.
Mr. Pritchett, because he wasn't here. Moving on to the next page, it's application 22-006. This property is located in West Babylon. So the board will recall that planning had some concerns regarding the accessory building, also known as the pool house, and had recommended that if approved, that conditions be attached stating no heating or plumbing permitted within the accessory building, no habitable space permitted in the accessory building, and no sleeping quarters within the accessory building.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve application 22-006 with the conditions that there be no plumbing or heating within the accessory building, no habitable space permitted within the accessory building, and no sleeping quarters within the accessory building.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
you. Moving on to the next application, it's 22-025. This is Key Span East. The board will recall this was formerly approved as VL10, but now there have been changes to the plot plan. Planning has no objection. I believe Mr. Guarino would like to refer to his memo that the board reviewed stating SEQA has been completed.
Yeah, that's correct. And I just ask that, should you approve it, I think I have 3 items I don't have in front of me right now that you could attach to the approval indicating compliance with SECRA.
I have them.
Department recommendations. The project was classified as a type 1 action pursuant to SEQA. The planning board performed a coordinated review.
That's it.
That's it?
That's it.
So we include those in the approval?
Yes.
Okay. All right, I'll make a motion to approve application 22025 to include the conditions on the Department of Environmental Control memo dated March 21st, 2022.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Moving on to page 17, the application is 22-026 SNL Copeg. This property is located in Copeg. If the board is satisfied, they would need to approve as amended, as the board eliminated one of the variances last week.
This would also need a neg deck.
This is the self-storage facility at the current PetSmart location.
Make a motion to adopt the negative declaration for
Second.
application 22-026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then I make a motion to approve application 22-026 as amended.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Finally, we're on to our correspondence, of which there was plenty. We have item number 1, which were the neighbors in association with ZBA 22-03. We have an email from the neighbor regarding application number 22-013 of Checkpoint Automotive. We had the letter from counsel from Mr. Galgano, application 21-017. We had the letter from Chris Ross regarding application 22-008, Michael Capozzi. We had a memo from Mr. Normoyle regarding the change in the variance application for Mr. Capozzi. A memo from Mr. Guarino regarding Sean Murphy's application. We had an email regarding the application of Michael Mara stating that he would be willing to relocate to 3 feet. We had an email from counsel for neighbors of Checkpoint Auto. That was number 8 in your correspondence. Number 9 is correspondence from Stephanie Marone and Keith Marone. So if the board could please look at item number 9 and recall that the board had previously approved the application 21-038 of Catherine and Ronald Rust. This included an existing pool house, the board will recall, that had some history as to it being constructed for use for a child who unfortunately passed away, but provided great comfort while he was here. I believe it is the child of those of the former, it's their parents' house, and now the child has purchased the house. Her letter is referring to the conditions that the board placed on the application as part of the approval. And she is asking for modifications to those conditions and lays out in her letter the hardships she is facing. There are also letters from neighbors in support of her request. It is quite lengthy. If the board would like to look at it or ask us to pull the former approval, it is attached.
Stuff. Yeah.
It was approved on June 11, 2021, and it was approved as amended based on plans submitted and considered by the board with the conditions that the pool house not contain heating or plumbing, the front porch not be further enclosed, and the conditions to be noted on the certificate of occupancy. But I believe that there was a request to cut back on the pool house, which was agreed to by the applicants at the time.
Cut back, okay, based on the amount of lot coverage?
I think so. So Katie, was that a correct?
I'd have to research it more.
Yeah, why don't we carry this over, because it is a little lengthy, and I know I didn't get a full chance to read this. And maybe Katie can do a little stuff for us, and we'll take this up next week.
Thank
2
you.
weeks from now, please.
Moving
Thank
on to item number 10 in your correspondence, it's G&J Bestway, submitting photos that they complete of their site. Number 11 is a memo from Mr. Normoyle regarding the Michael Mara variance change. Which brings us to asking for your approval of the minutes of March 10th, final approval. They were on for review last week.
Mr. Chairman, can I make a motion to accept the minutes of March 2nd, 2022?
March 10th.
March.
That's okay. Second, we had a second on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Am I abstain?
Finally, for the board's review are the minutes of March 24th, last week's meeting. And finally, if the board is satisfied with the findings for Gail Grace, they are on for your approval tonight. They were submitted last week for review. This was the sign variance at the Gail Grace Estates on Copay.
I'll make a motion to approve the findings on application 21-238.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I have the addendum that I sent you all. I can screen share it just to make sure everyone got it. Are you all able to see the addendum?
Yeah.
I don't see nothing.
You don't see anything?
I don't see no.
Oh, wait,
You-
maybe now.
There you go.
Appeals. Oh, tactical arms, okay.
Yeah, and I
Requesting
can,
a postponement.
and here's the letter from,
We're gonna move that to a Thursday night, right, Mickey?
Yeah, we're gonna move that to the April the 28th. Do I need to make a motion on that, Pam, or just,
It would be prudent.
yeah? I will make a motion to
That's what I thought.
adjourn the April 9th meeting to April 28th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And that concludes your agenda this evening.
Okay, very good.
Make a motion to adjourn?
You always do that. Joe.
Second.
Your nerves getting cold or what?
Oh, they're already cold.